the point that she made was that the emotional baggage, do I have to shoot this person? Because of the repercussions of what happens in life after that. Did I really do everything I could do before I shot this person? And I think that's something that people don't really grasp sometimes.
I'm Ryan Gresham, and this is Gun Talk Nation. Gun Talk Nation is brought to you by Range Ready, Safariland, Inglis, and Guns and Gear. Hey, welcome into Gun Talk Nation. Today on Gun Talk Nation, we have some special guests in the studio. We have a special event going on with CCW Safe. You know CCW Safe. It is, for lack of a better word, concealed carry insurance. I'm sure they have their own way of describing it. But what we're doing is we're running media members through the scenarios that you've probably seen on our First Person Defender show. So let's welcome them in. Julie Golub, Fred Massison, welcome in.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Guys, thanks for being here.
That's great.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. I mean, Julie, you're a legendary pro shooter. Fred, a legendary gun writer guy, but former law enforcement, right?
I was a reserve officer.
Okay. And it was kind of fun because it seems like a lot of the people here have not done the force-on-force training, scenario-based training type stuff. You've done some of it, I imagine,
Yeah.
Fred. I mean, Julie, let's start with you. I mean, just talk about today. What do you think?
I went to MP school, so I had a very different experience. Of course, we were exposed to FAT system and then, these kind of scenarios, but we never used sims.
Mm-hmm.
And to be now 20 years later than that, going through this as a civilian with a different mindset as a mother, it's been quite an eye-opening experience. You guys have done an amazing job at making me think more than I thought I would have thought.
Great.
Yeah, I've the very, very first time I ever did anything like this, I was getting certified as a Simunitions instructor with Simunitions, the General Dynamics company. And the scenario they put me in was the simplest little thing. There wasn't a lot of decision making, there weren't a lot of people, but that scenario played over and over in my head for days. Yeah. And it was like, this is the value of training. This is the value of this stuff, because you can draw and shoot paper all day and I was really good today, or I wasn't really good, or whatever. But like this stuff, you start just doing the what if and a different way I could have approached this or whatever. I mean, Fred, we had two very different scenarios today, right?
Yes, you did.
So the first one was, you guys are at work, you're the last one here, you're outside, you're cleaning up. And then somebody walks up on you. Now, to go ahead and just give away the punchline, the guy walking up was, in fact, a bad guy. He did have ill intent. What were you thinking, Fred?
Well, obviously it's a scenario. You've done these. So you know that your first instinct is things are going to go bad. So you're amped up for it. But I will say this, is that the way that these situations were prefaced were very nice. Having done Sims training, and for anybody who's done, even with the FATs, it almost becomes a game sometimes where they're going to bushwhack you, where it's almost a no-win situation. So it's nice going into it knowing that wasn't going to be the situation. But the scenario rolled out where, we were engaging you.
Yeah, I was the bad guy.
You were the bad guy. You did a really good job.
I had to tell Chris and KJ, I was like, listen, I'm going to be the bad guy for at least one of these. You guys always have all the fun.
It was very difficult for me not to say your name.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I know you. What are you doing here? But it's nice because it's interactive to a degree. It escalated very quickly. It dragged on for some time. And like you, I'm already running it back through my mind. And ultimately, I think the situations like this, or any force-on-force scenario, is priceless training. Because, like you said, we can spend a lot of time on the range shooting rounds, but there's no kinetic feedback. Mm-hmm. And I'll call it that, kinetic feedback. The chance that you're going to get shot really changes the dynamic of it. So that scenario specifically was, it was challenging because you don't want to have to present your weapon to begin with, and you certainly don't have to shoot somebody, but when your hand is forced, your hand has been forced.
Well, and I'll say this: we do a lot of planning for these, and we really think through
Obviously.
who the bad guy is and because there's different types of bad guys.
Yeah.
And you have to first, we didn't want you to know whether or not I was a bad guy. You had to kind of figure that out as we talked, because I didn't come in yelling and screaming and pointing guns, right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, what is it you guys do here? And it was like the friendly, creepy, like, is this what's going on here, man? Julie, what were you thinking in that?
Again, it's one of those weird things that because I know you, but you did such a fine job that I stopped in the moment of, thinking, oh, that's Ryan, but really listening to what you had to say. And I think that was really helpful for me in that scenario, because it's not exactly, it wasn't my job. That's, it was very hard to put myself in that situation, and that I wouldn't be doing that sort of thing. But because of our conversations and because of the way things escalated, it was definitely, I was juiced in a way I wasn't expecting. And just that unknown is a huge thing. And so many people Monday quarterback everything. And I'm even doing that now, but understanding the emotional things that you go through, the thoughts that you have in those, and then obviously the skills. I have not once today did I think about being able to handle my firearm.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's after years and years of being able to do that. I think of the new concealed carry holder who's just learning and maybe doesn't even remember where the magazine button is or what they would need to do if they had a malfunction. And they're all so blended.
Well, you guys are both shooters. You're good shooters. And so like you can pick up a gun and fire it and then hit the target. This is not a big deal. This is a different thing, right?
Yes.
This is, we talk so much in our gun world of gear and the cool red dots and Cerakote finishes. And then on the other side, we'll talk about shooting. Oh, he had a 2-second bill drill or whatever, right? That's cool. On the Graham, this gun shoots so flat. Oh, everyone's copying every gun now. This has nothing to do with that, right?
No, nothing to do with it. This is not firearms training. This is mind training. And kudos to you once again, because like you, I've been through scenarios, and this is not a clear-cut scenario.
Right.
This is a slowly graduating and evolving scenario. So many times we've been in training, and there's a bad guy inside with a gun. Well, what's about to happen. Right. You're in a gunfight. This is all you're doing is practicing shooting indoors. That's all this is. But the way that it developed and the way that you do these is spectacular. Because, as I said, it's not gun training, because you should already have those fundamental skills, but it's training your mind. Now your brain is running 100 miles an hour. I'm like, well, what's about to happen? Could this happen? You need to shut that down and just absorb and be in the moment.
Yeah, and it's, Fred, you shot me. Julie, you didn't shoot me. You didn't. And that's determined by the bad guy does based on what you guys do. Yeah. Right?
It's never the same, right?
It's never the same. It's that first one with me as the bad guy. Every scenario was different. Yeah. And I wasn't really sure, should I mix it up? But I didn't have to. I didn't have to mix it up because I'm doing based on what you guys are doing. I would turn my back to people. I would kind of walk slowly towards them. I'd be friendly. You ended up kind of, you were, Julie is very friendly, and she just is. And then
I don't like using a loud voice, except it's very hard for the mom voice to come out.
Well, and you thought you were fairly reserved.
Yeah.
But you did end up at some point go, this is creeping me out. You drew your gun. I don't think you were pointed at me. I think I said, is that thing even loaded? I think you said, do you want to find out or something like that? I love it.
I don't even remember. That's the, that's the thing in that moment. But yeah, the thing that I appreciate is we come from all different backgrounds in this group in experience levels. And you were very clear in setting ground rules. This will not happen. This could happen. No one's going to do this or that or the other thing. And so it sets a tone for everybody to have that calm sort of, okay, I can really learn from this experience without somebody coming out of the ceiling or whatever.
We're not doing a gotcha thing because people, we can come up with goofy stuff. Well, what if it was 6 guys? I saw that in a video one time. Yeah. We're not trying to make it ridiculous or completely unfair and unwinnable. There's stuff that we're like, it's not winnable. Because we tell you to act naturally, act how you normally would act. well, I could walk up to you on the sidewalk and shoot you 5 times in the chest.
Yeah.
Well, what are we doing now? Well, you got to experience getting shot with paintball.
Yeah.
All right. So the second scenario we did today was different. We were in the shoot house and they said, you're in your house.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the backstory. I mean, maybe you guys have figured it out by now. It's interesting when you try to set it up and you try to tell people it's just a kid walking through, and you don't know it's a kid because we've got role players and he's got a mask on and all this stuff. So there's a little bit of make believe, a little bit of like figuring out what's going on here. But he walks in, but he's acting kind of weird, goofy, and he's asking for someone who's in the house, but he's in your house.
Yeah.
And this wasn't intentional. I think, Julie, you shot him.
Yeah,
yes.
Very much.
Fred, you didn't have to shoot him.
Correct.
I mean, you used commands and he
struck fear into his soul.
I would say this. I mean, when people do this, and we have one of our participants, she managed to go through both scenarios and didn't shoot the guy either time, Becky.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is she got so aggressive so quickly. As a bad guy, you can feel that.
Yeah.
And on that first one, I was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And you're going, I'm not suicidal. I'm just like, but she is on sights, on trigger. She means it. She's using the mom voice.
Yes.
And she did the same thing on the second one. But this guy was unarmed. And if you had listened and talked to him, he was going to leave. But you guys didn't know that going in.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I immediately after I shot him, I felt remorse over having to shoot him. But at the same time, in my house, I have an alarm system. I have dogs. I have a plan. I have very specific things. So if all of those things would have had to have been, broken in order for someone to come through, and I made the decision to shoot as soon as I saw him doing funny things with his hands around his waist. Just from that experience, him being bigger, stronger, in my home, kids there, I even though I would feel horrible about it, I still feel that I still feel justified and right in doing that because it could have easily have gone the other way so fast.
I mean, and this is why we do training. And
Yes.
we have to, and this is kind of, and I think in airplanes, it's the chain of an accident chain, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I would never do that. Well, this was a time when your door was unlocked. This was a time when your alarm wasn't set. And it's highly unlikely, but it's not impossible.
Of course.
Fred, what do you think?
Well, I think it was a great scenario, and it's a very individual scenario too, because once again, based upon so many different factors of my house versus Julie's house. But it's, for me, the scenario obviously evolved fairly quickly. I heard him come in, caught my attention, unrecognized voice, so I was already moving. And when he presented in the doorway, I was already up with a gun, drawn in on him, sights on, finger on the trigger, and some of the slack out already. And there was, even if he decided he's going to pull a John Wick on me, I still had the drop on him.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely in control of the moment.
Did you hear him say anything?
I heard him mention my daughter's name with the helmets on and everything going on. It's very tough. Heard him say something that's cold. I live in Arizona, so I knew that he had a mental issue to begin with. It's never cold in Arizona. But he immediately, physically, energy-wise, he started to back out. So right then and there, even before he physically moved, I could see him kind of recoil a little bit, and I knew that I'd continue to have the upper hand, still press the issue and forced him out. And fortunately, I didn't have to shoot him because I felt that I had complete control of the situation.
Yeah. Well, we have CCW Safe here. They gave legal analysis on it, and there were a lot of lessons learned. Inglis Manufacturing revived one of the most iconic military pistols of the 20th century, the Inglis High Power. Originally produced in Canada during World War II, the High Power gained reputation for rugged reliability and saw service around the globe. Now, SDS Arms brings back this legacy with a faithful reproduction crafted for both modern shooters and historical collectors. You can learn more over at sdsarms.com. Safariland's latest upgrade to its award-winning inside the waistband holster, the Incog X Cordura wrapped holster. This is engineered for low-profile everyday carry that doesn't compromise on performance. It's available in multicam, black multicam, and M81 woodland camo. Designed for optics-ready pistols, the clip strut system adds concealability by pushing the grip of your firearm closer to the body, ideal for appendix carry under light clothing. It has adjustable retention and cant, so you can fine-tune your draw. It has an attached mag caddy that comes standard. It's not just tactical, it's tailored. New from Safariland, the Incog X Cordura wrapped holster. You know, we can all improve on our shooting. And we have Range Ready Studios where we teach people how to shoot even gooder. Some people say better. I say gooder. RangeReadyStudios.com. We have pistol classes. We have rifle classes. We can help you become the best shooter possible. You'll be safer, more competent, and just better at the range. So go check it out, RangeReadyStudios.com. A new season of Guns and Gear is on the air. The best, the coolest, the newest products out there. You can watch it on the Outdoor Channel as well as Sportsman Channel, and you can also see it on all the Gun Talk channels, YouTube, Facebook, X, all those places. But check it out, a new season of Guns and Gear is out now. So guys, CCW Safe is the one putting on this event. Obviously, they deal with the aftermath part, which, again, when you talk about cool gear and cool shooting, we don't talk about the aftermath that much. But we have Chris Cunningham from their team here, and she is evaluating everyone going through it. She said a lot of stuff, guys. I mean, lessons learned, Julie.
So many. I think the biggest takeaway for me is just knowing that even with this, they're on your side. Like, if you have a problem, Chris is going to be that Chris person, that, you know, all of the team behind CCW Safe is going to be there. And the things that she makes you think about, at least for me, when I was going through this scenario, we talked about the broom. We had a scenario with the broom in hand.
Yeah.
And I had my gun in a hand and a broom in the other hand. And because you were acting so erratically, I didn't want to drop the broom to make you startle and do something weird. I also didn't want to give you the broom as a weapon. So I was like, okay, finally, I'm going to get rid of this and actually do something. And she brought that up, and she does it in such a way that she doesn't hound on you that you are wrong or anything of that nature. She said, think about this, think about that. And I think it's such an educational experience.
There's a lot of people end up, if you start with something in your hands in these scenarios, it's pretty rare when people drop the things in their hands. If it's something small, it's keys or it's a phone, they'll just go to drawing and shooting, and you're like, man, you just held that phone or that broom the whole time. And you're like, why did I do that? Why did I do that?
Yeah.
What else do you think? I mean, less like the legal aftermath part, is there anything that we've thought about today that we didn't think about before?
I mean, as far as what CCW Safe does, having them as your backup plan after something happens is so vital. And then all of the resources that they provide to help you get to the point of understanding what's going to happen is so important. I think that, you know, having her say, okay, you're in your home, this is your castle, this is the law, you're justified in this, but then talking about all of the other things that can happen.
But there's other stuff, right?
Exactly.
She goes, I mean, this guy, in that particular scenario, okay, he was unarmed, he was in your house, depending on where you live and other things, you're perhaps legally justified, but you're also going to have to go to court.
Right.
And there's also
criminal and civil.
There's a civil part here.
Yes.
I always call that the OJ factor.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's that civil suit thing that you go, oh, I didn't go to jail. You're like, okay, but there's a second trial.
Yeah.
Where they're coming for you, huh, Fred?
I agree. And I think that these scenarios, and you touched on that and kind of follow on what Julie had said, this is kind of a two different creatures in scenarios. I think the first one was all about perhaps the criminal side of it. You know, was it a quote unquote good shoot? The second one was much more gray.
Yeah.
And while Julie, with all of her barriers, would have been justified to shoot, then we talk about the other side of it, and that is the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would have been civil? Yes. Could you still won? Probably. But the point that she made was that the emotional baggage, do I have to shoot this person? Because of the repercussions of what happens in life after that. Did I really do everything I could do before I shot this person? And I think that's something that people don't really grasp sometimes. And that's also why I'm really impressed with them. I've dealt with the firearms of the CCW insurance industry for a little bit, and everybody's got their lane, and they're good at what they do, but nobody does what they do. Yeah. Nobody does what CCW Safe does. I mean, it's not insurance.
No.
Right.
It's a service
thing.
It's a membership.
Yeah. It's a membership. It's a service. It's connecting with a group that does obviously the logistical side of it for you, but the fact that they dispatch somebody to be there with you to help you with your life, to make sure that you're eating,
Yes,
to make sure you get counseling. I mean, these are things that go far beyond just, a corporate, entity that sells a product.
And at the same time, I heard them say it yesterday and today. They're like, look, we think we do a good job and we offer a good value for our members. But if you don't go with us, go with somebody.
Yes.
Well,
You need some type of coverage like
Exactly
this
right.
in today's age.
yes.
Yeah, and I agree completely. Even if you don't with CCW Safe, in the litigation crates of society we have today, you need coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need coverage.
So going back to, was it justified? But then there's the emotional part. Chris Serino, obviously, he's here and helping run this thing.
Yeah.
And he said, I think that, it's like, did you do everything you could to not have to shoot this person?
Yeah.
Not that you have to, not that you have to do everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, frankly, you don't want to have to shoot someone. There's the emotional side. There's all that part. There's also, frankly, that probably helps legally. And I mean, they didn't say this, but I'm saying it. Like, that probably helps legally if there's a case to be made of like, look, I did this and then I did this. I retreated to my bedroom. He's kicking in the door. And now I retreated to the bathroom. And like, I tried to not have to shoot him. There's probably something to be said for that.
It's absolutely, there's a lot to be said for
And
that.
he said, that's what I was getting at, is Serino said, he was a cop for all these years. He goes, if I had shot everyone I was legally justified, I probably could have shot dozens of people on the job, on duty.
The job. And that's the key too, I think is important. And I think that civilians, especially women or new gun owners in general, they don't have that kind of perspective. And so to have Chris say something like, look, we understand you're going to be scared. We understand you're going to be amped. But if you can take just that one moment to just get out of the tunnel vision and maybe analyze a little bit more, things could be totally different.
Yeah. This was one that, and it's hard. You're in a shoot house. You're wearing safety helmet, safety gear. But this is one where we were hoping people would hear the kid walking in, which was KJ. But KJ got shot a lot today.
Poor KJ.
Poor KJ. But that's what he does. But if they had listened, they would have realized he's kind of just an erratic person.
I have a solution for you.
Okay.
It should have been us. I was hanging out at Fred's house as a friend. I'm the one who's armed. And someone comes through Fred's door.
Yeah.
Because then it's not my house.
Mm-hmm.
And now maybe you were drinking that night or something, and I'm there, with my gun to make sure everything's all safe. He comes in. Do you know him? I don't know. Why is he in here? And I feel like that interaction would have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
But because it's your house, I feel like they're automatically, especially if you have something to protect
Sure.
and value, that it's a little different.
It is. We did hear a lot of, well, he was in my house. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
There's two things. You can be legally justified.
Yeah.
And you can also shoot an unarmed person who was lost or drunk or mentally disabled.
Yeah.
So
And it's been done in real
it
life.
happens in real life.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. And it brings to the question of just because, not the question, but the idea that just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no clear definition of that though.
Yeah.
Like for a small female, I mean, KJ is not a small guy.
Right.
So for Julie, I mean, if I was Julie, would I have shot him?
Or would you have told me to shoot him?
Julie, shoot that guy. Whispering,
My little angel on my shoulder.
Shoot him.
Yeah.
We were doing a training with a couple, and we were doing a video simulation thing. But the guy's like, it's a couple, and they have guns that shoot the lasers that tell you where it hits and all this stuff. And the guy, they both have their hands up and they're both armed, but the guy starts separating out. And then eventually, the bad guy shoots and they shoot back, whatever. They end, and the guy turns to the wife, he goes, "Why didn't you shoot him? That is the plan. Like, I am the threat. I am trying to gain his attention. Like, hey, man, like, shoot him. Hey, don't do it. Shoot him, shoot him. Like, go ahead and shoot him now."
Oh, so they had like a...
Yeah, it's like,
The signal.
you're supposed to shoot him right in the side of his dome because he's focused on me,
Oh, wow.
But family plans
Family plans.
go awry.
The best laid plans, yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you would change on how you approach today?
Oh, absolutely.
What?
You always war game. Well, in the first scenario, I hung around way too long. I gave you a couple kicks just to make sure.
Yeah, you shot me. I went down.
Well, I couldn't see your hand. You had a hand
Had a
underneath.
hand. And honestly, dude, it's the way I fell. It's just the way I fell, and my hand was underneath me, and I thought, well, this is kind of fun.
Well, you're so good at what you're doing. I was like, he's going to have the gun. I should have just immediately put some distance. I should have immediately exited, but I couldn't. In retrospect, of course, when you reflect, you're like, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Lessons learned,
The
though.
best part of this,
Exactly
doing the
right.
shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff, and it'll roll around your brain for days, and you're like, wow, there's a different way I can do this. And Chris Cunningham's had a great, she's like, I don't want to create training scars. I'm not saying
Yes.
you just go ahead and shoot them, or why'd you shoot them? I don't want you to hesitate when you shouldn't. I don't want you to shoot when you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it's just thinking about options. And it's kind of the win-then thing of like, okay, if I have a gun pointed at a guy and I'm like, get the F out of here, and he keeps walking towards me, I'm probably, if he keeps coming, I'm going to have to shoot him, even if I don't see a gun,
Yeah.
because he gets close enough, he's taking my gun. And there's just those types of things that you have to think about. Julie, what would you change?
I am not assertive in my speech. I am a people pleaser and I try to be nice to everybody. And
Just listen to
I
the
need
voice.
to
Pleasant.
learn
voice
to
over
say
that.
absolutely no very, very clearly in a situation like that. And it makes me very uncomfortable to do so. I don't like it. And there have been times I've certainly have. And when I'm in a leadership position and doing a specific thing.
Sure.
But that's not this. And this is me. And so finding it's been a wake up call for me, because you could sit there and say, oh yeah, I shoot great on the range. I can give a range of commands. I can do this. I can do all of that. But in this situation, it's like, please stop. No, they come back tomorrow. And just wanting to de-escalate and not be as strong as I need to be in those types of situations.
Some people, and sometimes I think it does kind of skew towards women, sometimes have a hard time turning on the mean gene. And you're like, all right, I'm not effing around anymore.
I'm not Becky.
And you gotta, Becky, boy, she's like, I'm like, babe, she's gonna light me up. Yeah, she wasn't messing around. But it's being able to turn on that mean gene, being able to drop the words that the criminals understand, the four-letter ones.
Yes.
And say it with conviction and meaning. And even if a gun's not involved, that could be really helpful, even if it's a bum that actually is not coming to stab you.
Yeah.
But just like, let them know, I'm not playing and we're not going to do this.
I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite, because it's the same thing I tell my daughters, like, be loud, be clear, and here I am.
Yeah.
Be still, come back tomorrow, please.
We're reluctant to be rude,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And
But
it's
some of
like-
us are.
Some of us are, we are, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. We shouldn't be just rude. That's called being an asshole. Yeah. But like,
Yeah.
but there is a time when you're like, I don't know you. You're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And let them know. I mean, and I think it can de-escalate feels like a different thing, but that is a way of de-escalating. To say, if you keep coming, we're going to escalate and I'll go there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is de-escalation. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
people confuse that. A harsh, firm tone with somebody is actually a point of de-escalation, because it stops what could potentially happen.
Yeah.
Because now if you get within touch space, the danger is real. Now things have escalated.
Mm-hmm. So
By being firm with somebody verbally, I think that can truly, de-escalate a situation. It's not always a kind, be super nice to them. That's not always de-escalation.
Mm-hmm.
De-escalation can be stay the F away from me.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do. And it's over.
Yeah.
You just de-escalated the situation.
Well, there's different types of bad guys, right?
Yeah.
There's the psychopath that's like, cool, we're going to mix this up.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about your words or your threats. And then there's the people who are like, I'm looking for an easy mark.
Yeah.
So this lady or this guy seems like they're not messing around. Maybe I'll just move on.
Yeah. It's almost like a line in the sand. It's a litmus test. If I tell you to stop and don't come any further, and you continue to come further, you just failed the test. Now I know what your intent is.
You failed the test.
Yes.
Now you pay the price.
Yeah.
We don't grade on a curve here.
Well said.
Well, thanks for being with us, guys. We're going to do some more of this tomorrow, and maybe we all need to go get a drink.
That's not a bad idea.
All right. We'll see you next time on Gun Talk Nation.